How Daddy made a stew. When Daddy was little, he made a stew all by himself. He never forgot that stew. There was probably not another one like it in the whole world. Zakhar Petrovich, the carpentry master, was sure there wasn't. They had a workshop at school, and Zakhar Petrovich taught the boys and girls how to saw and hammer, plane and glue, how to take apart what they had done badly and start over again and again until they had it right. He was a small middle-aged man with steel-rimmed eyeglasses. His favorite saying was, "Well begin, half done." Sometimes he would add, "And never be afraid of hard work." This is how he began the first lesson. "What's this?" "A hammer," everyone shouted. "Right, and this?" "A nail." "Right again. And what is this?" "A board." "Good. Now the idea is to drive this nail into this board with one blow of this hammer. Would anyone of you like to try?" "Me. I can do it. Let me do it." There were many children who were ready to have a go, but even the strongest boys could not drive the nail in at a blow. Then Zakhar Petrovich took another nail, placed it on the board and struck it. He did not strike it very hard. Everyone gasped. The nail had gone right into the board with one blow. "You need a good eye and a steady hand," Zakhar Petrovich said. "Is that clear?" "Yes," said little Daddy and struck his thumb with all his might. He saw stars and howled loudly. The other children laughed. "There's nothing to laugh at," Zakhar Petrovich said. "Do you think I always hit the nail?" "Not at all. Sometimes I hit my finger, and I would get a smack on my head from my master. That would be his way of telling me that he had hit the nail and I hadn't. That's how we were taught." Everyone felt sorry for little Zakhar Petrovich, but then he laughed and said, "Don't worry, I won't hit anyone. You are the masters here yourselves. Everything here is for you. Well, we will begin by learning how to make a little stool." "A little stool? What could be simpler? But you just try and make once and make it fit the measurements. Oh, how much sewing and planning and gluing there is to be done, and how many times you have to take apart what you have done and start all over again. Oh, how much work, how much energy, how much skill and patience you need." Misha Gorbunov was the first to complete his tool. "Have a seat," he said proudly. "Have a seat yourself," Zakhar Petrovich answered. Misha looked very important as he sat down carefully. The stool creaked, then it fell apart and crashed to the floor. Misha too fell in a heap on the floor while everyone laughed. "You have done a quick job, but a bad one," Zakhar Petrovich said. "Now start all over and again, and don't be such in a hurry. or you will have everyone laughing again. No one was able to make a good stool the first time. Everyone had to do it over again. Don't worry, kids, Zakhar Petrovich said to them in a kindly way. Moscow wasn't built in a day. You probably thought that anyone could hammer and saw. Yes, that's true. But you have to put a lot of sweat into it to do a good job. The kids tried their best. It was just like a regular lesson. They were all trying to be the first to solve the problem. It was really fun. After all, you couldn't sit on a problem after you have solved it, that's all there is to it. But here you could sit on your own stool after you had made it, and you could invite others to sit on it too. Varya, Galzenvoa, was the first one to make really a good stool, but she was a girl. True, her father was a carpenter. He had taught her how to use a plane and a saw. Zakhar Petrovich had nothing but praise for Varya. It is an excellent job. You have put all the boys to shame, he said proudly. The boys were quite upset with her and began to tease her. But she never got cross. She just kept saying, "Well, where are your stools?" The boys had nothing to say. Misha was the second to finish his stool. The boys did not feel bad anymore. After that, everyone started handing in his finished work. Zakhar Petrovich would look at each stool very carefully and then say with a laugh, "It does look like a stool in some way, but is it a stool?" Finally, little Daddy completed his stool. He was scratched and bruised, and there was glue on his face and hands, but that didn't worry him one bit. His first stool was ready. He had never felt as happy on his birthday as he had on the day his first stool was born. Zakhar Petrovich must have guessed this by the look on little Daddy's face. "Go on, sit on it." Those were the magic words. Little Daddy sat down very carefully. The stool didn't even squeak. But then Zakhar Petrovich looked at it more closely. "Count your legs," he said in a quiet voice. Little Daddy was very surprised. He looked down at his feet. There were two, as always. But then the boys and girls began to giggle. Zakhar Petrovich laughed too. To this day, Daddy can't understand how he managed to make a five-legged stool, but there it was. We still have it, and it still has five legs. Five, not four, and he can still hear Zakhar Petrovich saying, "Five legs are no better than three. Start all over again," and he thinks this is something you should remember no matter what job you are doing.